Language is a window into social relationships. An indirect speech act is a case in which we veil our real intentions in innuendo, hoping the listener will read between the lines and infer our real intent. And this is something we do all the time, often without realizing it, in asking for requests, for seductions or for sexual commands, threats, bribes, and solicitations. So why are these innuendos often used? Language has to do two things. One is to convey some content, what I want you to do, for example, and the other thing is to negotiate the relationship type in which the two persons are involved. For example, if you could pass the guacamole, that would be awesome, is understood by the listener as a polite request. The speaker is using a disguised imperative to avoid showing dominance. Another question is why we use this indirect speech when there is no real uncertainty, as in some situations. For example, when the two persons involved in the situation know exactly what they're talking about. For example, in a seduction situation, it is often more comfortable to use an obvious innuendo than a direct overture. And it is sometimes because this direct speech is more makes you feel more in a more awkward situation than if you use these veiled innuendos. This concept is related to what economists call as mutual knowledge, which is different from individual knowledge, in which A knows X and B knows X, and in mutual knowledge, A knows X and B knows X, and A knows that B knows, and B knows that A knows, and etc. And it has some consequences, especially in political revolutions, when a crowd gathers in a public square. There, in this gathering, everyone knows that the dictator is loathed, and therefore they have the power to challenge the authorities. So as we see, innuendos provide individual knowledge, while direct speech provides mutual knowledge, and relationships are maintained or not by the mutual knowledge of this type of relationship. So using the example of when Harry met Sally, if Harry would have used an innuendo as a come on, and Sally said no, there's no mutual knowledge, and they can keep the fiction of their friendship. But if Harry would have asked her to have sex and she had turned him down, both would have known that the other one knows that what are they talking about, so they can't maintain the fiction of a friendship.